Hello everyone. For this week's discussion, I have watched a presentation on visual analytics, and one of the biggest ideas that stood out for me on this was the distinction between data visualization and visual analytics. My entire summary rests on the fact that most listen about the attached video, which I would highly recommend you watch. Before, I honestly thought these terms were essentially the same thing. However, visualization and analytics are completely different things as described by the presenter. Instead of simply looking at a chart, users can explore the data, filter it, drill down into specific areas, and then ask new questions as they discover patterns. That interactive concept is what makes visual analytics such a valuable tool for decision making. Not only was this worked and described by the user, he actually had to drill down to ask the questions instead of just eating answers that we were giving. Another concept I found interesting was the discussion about how humans naturally recognize patterns. The presenter used a simple example of comparing two people's heights to explain how our brains make comparisons almost instantly. The same principles apply when we look at visual representation of data. Rather than reading through the pages of numbers, we can quickly identify trends, differences, and relationships simply by looking at graphs or dashboards. This helps decision makers process information much faster than they were relying on spreadsheets or reports. However, it does set us up for deciding too quickly, the I eats first kind of thing. The presenter demonstrates that the idea using a large Facebook advertising database or data set from 2020 presidential elections. The data set contained approximately 14 million records, which would almost be impossible to analyze effectively in a traditional spreadsheet. But when we use tools like Table, which I love, however, the presenter was given a quick comparison of advertising strategies between candidates by age, group, gender, geographic location, campaign objective, all that stuff. Although the example focused on the political advertising, I think the real lesson was how visual analytics can simplify extreme larger and large complex data sets so that meaningful insights can be much easier to identify. One feature that stood out to me was the ability to drill down into the data. Instead of using instead of viewing only high-level summaries, the presenter showed how selecting a state such as Florida or Pennsylvania and the updated dashboards revealed additional details about campaign spending and targeted strategies. These allowed analysts to move from boards and trends to very specific information about how to generate entirely new reports. And see, I see this as data manipulation. I also thought the discussion about dashboards was especially relevant when we were learning how to manage information systems. Dashboards combine multiple visualizations into one interface, allowing users to manipulate or to monitor different performance measures on uh, within the same time frame. Now, if none of you have actually used Table to create dashboards, I strongly recommend that you do so because it's a very enlightening tool. Another important point was that visual analytics is not just about technology. The presenter in his video emphasizes that it combines computer science, data analysis, and an understanding of human perception. The goal is not simply to produce attractive charts, but to create visualizations that help people think more effectively and discover insights that they might otherwise miss. And finally, I appreciate the presenter discussing accessibility. He mentioned doing a colorblind, saved color palettes and using dashboards that are usable by a wider audience. So these dashboards are very flexible, and you can pick and choose and pretty much outline anything that you want to show or don't want to show. And it's up to the user to drill down to find it out. This presentation reinforces that visual analytics is much more than creating charts. It's an interactive process that helps organizations explore large amounts of data, identify meaningful patterns, and make better decisions, and helps us make better decisions. And that is what I have to offer you guys this week. I hope that you enjoyed this presentation and have a great week. Talk to you later.